Hello guys and welcome to the channel, it's the Eradicator, and it looks like this is it. Star Citizen Alpha 3.18 seems to finally be picking up some steam as we are now having the first official patch, the A patch. The previous patches were actually playtests to try out the new persistent entity streaming. These playtests are now officially over, and the Evocatis are testing the first full-on builds with all of the different gameplay features that are going to be coming up with Star Citizen Alpha 3.18. Let's have a look at the patch notes of this A patch for Star Citizen Alpha 3.18. The testing focus are salvage and hull scraping, the platform assaults on Horizon, the security post carrier reactivation, the courier delivery mission updates, the sandbox prison activities, sand caves, Damar crash sites, the Stanton racetrack locations, the Grey Cat PTV racetrack, and the new rivers as well. Let's have a look first at the Damar crash site here. It is a large derelict settlement on Damar using parts of the Star Runner N600i, as well as some hubs adapted to the biome. So yeah, looks like they are going to be having some actual hubs that will be able to enter at those crash sites. That's interesting. To create a point of interest that include kill all, kill specific, and also delivery missions at the same time. Will we deliver stuff there, or will we just pick up stuff to deliver somewhere else like at the other locations? I guess that we will see. We also have the new type of sand caves here, the sand cave archetype. This addition of the new sand cave archetype are across multiple planets and moons in the Stanton system, including Hurston, Magda, Ida, Damar, and Voila, each with their own 20 unique sand cave formations. These new sand caves include a brand new land crustacean known as the Stone Bug, with its new harvestable, the Stone Bug Shell. Interesting. So looks like we're going to have some kind of new creature that we'll be seeing perhaps in those sand caves. Will they be creeping around? Will they be attacking us? That would be wonderful. I guess that we'll have to see. Stanton racetrack locations. So here, this is something that we've seen in an episode of Inside Star Citizen not too long ago here, which will include the addition of many new racing locations into Stanton. With this update, they are going to include three out of the six new and community-driven racing locations into the persistent universe. So I suppose that the next 3 races will be coming later, with updated assets and set dressings to make each racing location a unique and rewarding experience for players to test their racing skills. These racing tracks include Yedar Valley, which will be 11 kilometers away from the Garden, the Kaplan Stadium, which will be 16 kilometers away from the Horizon marker, and Lorville Gateway, which will be 6.5 kilometers away from the Lorville Continent Travel marker. Now, there will also be a Grey Cat PTV racetrack here, which will be into the Horizon Vision Center on Crusader at the same location as the most recent Invictus launch week, which is going to be designed for the Grey Cat PTV. Unfortunately, not the STV, it seems. Next, the security post-career reactivation here. Now, this one is really interesting. We've seen an entire episode of Inside Star Citizen about it. Also, security post-career will be taking a more central role in Stanton security. Crusader security have moved into a full-time staff and have begun storing confiscated contraband aboard. The station will be off-limits to all civilians, so do not go there if you do not have an authorization, unless given prior authorization. Kara has undergone a full art redesign polish. This includes new evidence and contraband processing office addition with interactable contraband dispenser, new traversal pathways, new color schemes and branding, and updated set dressing and cover around the whole interior, because it kind of looks a bit derelict, right, when you go there right now. So quite a change compared to what it is at the moment. The interior and exterior of Carey have been updated with armed admin AI and reinforcement, including new Crusader security loadouts and police detectives in Kevlar. Amazing. It's going to be really fun to be a criminal and take down those NPCs, and vice versa, being a law enforcer and come out here for the rescue. Inside Korea, criminal players will now be able to trigger a boss to spawn after killing several AI. After this boss has been killed, players will be able to loot items and find a code on their body that will unlock a terminal inside the evidence storage room. After unlocking, players will be able to activate the contraband machine and dispense drugs. The player will be able to keep getting drugs out of the dispenser until a set amount of items are generated, which is going to be random between 15 and 20 items. So it's actually going to be it's not going to be unlimited like Jumptown, right? Once all of the items have been retrieved, the security terminal will lock itself, and upon leaving, the contraband room door should lock, not allowing players to access the area. So yeah, don't expect to fill an entire C2 Hercules with the drugs here. 15 to 20 is what it's going to be. Along with the security post carrier reactivation, we are introducing a new mission called Retake Location. Initially only at security post carrier, this new mission type is generated for players when a location deemed itself under attack. For example, when X amount of location population is killed. This mission will generate for players outside of the location and will allow players to go to that location and lawfully enter and remove all hostile attackers. Each attacker a player kills will give them a bonus after completing the mission. Any player in the area contributing to the mission will get part of the overall reward. So there's also going to be another mission there, which is the platform assault on Horizon here, which is going to be bringing bounty hunting mission, assassinate, clear all, and other missions that take place on the inspiration pack platforms created for the Siege of Horizon, which are going to be including, as I said, eliminate all missions similar to the current underground facilities missions. Now, for these islands, the player will be tasked with killing everyone in a given building, and these mercenary missions are available from Crusader Industries. For example, when you go around Crusader, you will only have them available there. You cannot take those missions if you are around other planets, right? Just like the current mission that we have right now. Now, let's talk about Salvage, including hull scraping, the first implementation of Salvage into the persistent universe, which includes both hull stripping as well as repair. This includes both performing hull stripping and repairs by hand, as well as hull stripping using the systems aboard the new Drake Vulture and Aegis Reclaimer using highly advanced compression technology. These tools can break down ships and vehicle exteriors, converting them into recycled material composites and store them in the canister attached. The player then has an option to either use the material to repair their ship using the FPS multi-tool by filling the damaged area, or they can sell the material as a commodity and And I was told that RMC is pretty expensive, pretty much on the same level of Continuum, so it will be very interesting to see how this is going to be also a valuable commodity for pirates to see. Maybe pirates will be targeting reclaimers or maybe vultures in the future, right? We talked about all of that in yesterday's video, by the way, so they still have hull scraping and repair. If you want to know all of the details, you can check out yesterday's video. It's exactly the same thing. Now, let's talk about soft death here, which is also a new feature in 3.18. Ships and vehicles will now go into a soft death state instead of instantly exploding. This will put the ship into a power down state, unlocked doors which will allow players to board and take on the crew and cargo inside. So perfect for pirates, right? So when it will be in soft death, you'll be able to freely enter the ship without even trying to use a cutting tool. That's so interesting as well. And finally, they also have the sandbox prison activities here, which is an extension of prison gameplay with a new suite of missions and sandbox activities to give inmates more opportunities to earn merits or to aid in their escape from prison. The prison and its mine are now filled with an emergent population of prison guards and civilian prisoners with lootable items. Players will be able to loot contraband located throughout the prison mines and from bodies to sell to the prison kiosk for merits. This includes a brand new prison escape delivery mission where players have to find and loot an item in the escape route and then deliver it to the nearest outpost. Upon doing this, the player will have their criminal record wiped by the mission giver. Now that's very interesting, and I like that very much because, you know, in the past you still had to go to security post Corée to go to wipe your prison record or your criminal record, but obviously since now it's going to be really hard to go to SPK, having a mission giver doing that for you is going to be quite an incentive to take that mission, and it's going to definitely make it a little bit easier for the people who take those missions. Players will now incur a punishment for suiciding in prison. However, they will retrieve their gear from their dead body and they can also pay off this merit value instantly. All right, that's great. We also have a new landing request key here, which now is Alt plus N, so you don't need to do that in the option menu, you can it would directly be in the game over there. So the Vulture is also there, obviously. So it's a ship that's actually available to visit at the expo, but it is obviously a ship that will be featured in 3.18. Also, the Salvage multi-tool attachment will be there as well. Obviously, persistent entity streaming is a part of 3.18, so that's something that they'll be testing here. And among the new locations, they have as well new rivers in Stanton, so they're adding dozens of additional rivers and lakes on Macrotech and Hurston, and they are also going to set up biome-specific objects, such as, for example, new plants maybe, or maybe harvestables around those rivers and lakes that will be placed on Hurston and Macrotech 2. Next, we'll talk about restricted areas. They are also being reworked here for 3.18. It's a complete rework of the restricted area tech around landing zones, and instead of ships being autopiloted away or destroyed upon entering a restricted area, players are now given more freedom to fly and maneuver around cities. Upon entering a restricted area, players will now be given a text warning, a countdown, and an arrow pointing towards the exit. If the countdown ends, they go further into the restricted area, the player will be teleported to a safe location, their ship will be impounded, and they will receive a misdemeanor crime stat. This feature also applies to ground vehicles. Players outside of a vehicle won't receive a countdown, but will be teleported to safety if they venture too far into a restricted area. So I guess that this is the new way that they have found to force players to not go into places that they're not supposed to be going to, right? Next, Caterpillar Crash Stats Improvement V1. So they've finally added AI to populate Caterpillar Crash Stats. They've also added kill-specific and kill-all missions, including a general polish pass and visual improvements. Yes, those Caterpillar Crash Stats are quite cool, where they've been created a while back already, but they were mostly for, investigation mission or exploration, but it's great to see that now they also have NPCs that will be located there. Also, there's the Derek Settlement Reclaimer V2 here, which is a general polish pass to the Reclaimer, including additional building and general visual improvements. Also, they've added parallax interior window shader for building around all the landing zones. Also, AI, NPC loadout updates here. They've updated many NPC loadouts throughout the Stanton with new shopkeeper outfits, Earth fashion dress. Wow, okay, I wonder where we'll be finding those, right? Hospital surgeon outfits, service hats, and aprons in shops and armor sets. Also, gameplay, courier delivery mission update. Addition to the new local courier delivery missions around each Stanton planet system. These new missions are based around the total delivery companies for each planet system in Stanton and give players a more focused area for deliveries. There are now 4 new delivery reputations based on the area you are in. Redwind local delivery, Link family local delivery route, Kovalex local delivery route, and UDM local delivery route. These new missions can be acquired after completing the intro missions for the local delivery company in your area. Yes, before there used to be only 2 levels, now there's 4. I really wonder what this is going to be entailing. More complex deliveries, more boxes to be delivering. I don't know. I guess that we'll see. Also, various quality of life improvements here. They've added the ability for long-term persistence items to stack in inventory. They added transfer all button to inventory that work based on selected filters. They added visual feedback, attempting to quickly move an item that will not fit into a target inventory. And they've also implemented toggle option to the right top of the player's inventory to always show or hide the item ports for equipping gear. The law and improvement system here, as mentioned before many times, crime stat 1 and 2 will no longer be punishable by death, and it will instead allow players to pay them off with a fine. And finally, Core Tech Gen 12 is there, and they've also added the community kiosk to use building block tech. With that come some bug fixes too, including 8 client crashes, 6 server crashes. They've also fixed 1 Gen 12 GPU crash. They've also fixed the Drake Corsair. So when flying in the straight line in atmosphere, the Corsair will nose down without the pilot input, making it hard to control at a certain speed. This is fixed. Commodity trading selling UI here. The commodities will not appear in the commodity kiosk and cannot be sold. This was fixed. Also, the shuttle to Vision Center that never arrives and gets stuck is also fixed. They fixed fixed. The character loadout here, after exiting Closure, player will have no head or mobiglass. This is also fixed. Ship drops out of quantum when pressing B or missile mode. It is also fixed. Quantum markers disappear when traveling between planets, between planetary markers until quantum drive finishes pulling. It is back. Also, security AI are now spanning with their correct loadouts and do not cover or surrender anymore at security post Cray. Also, the AI not leaving their spawn closets has also been fixed for the Infiltrate Horizon missions. In Arena Commander here, own items were not displayed. It is now fixed as well. Exit button UI was missing and replaced with an X. It is also fixed. And finally here, the closure rate marker was fixed here and now gives the correct velocity towards the target. Phew, that is a lot to talk about here with this 3.18. They've also added a few modes here. For example, especially when it comes to Arena Commander, a couple of maps were also added as well. All of that here we'll be talking probably in future videos too, because that is a lot to be digesting here for this video. Anyway, guys, that is all for today. But let me know in the comment section down below, guys, what you guys think of this full build for 3.18. Do you think it is quite reassuring when it comes to the release of Star Citizen about 3.18 for the end of this year? I think so, you know. I mean, it's the end of November already. The last week of November, we have our first full patch for 3.18, and we'll be polishing it in Evocati, and eventually we'll have it in PTU Wave 1, 2, and 3. At least I believe that we'll have it in the PTU before the end of the year. But anyway, guys, if you answer that question and subscribe to the channel, again, you are in for a chance to win a Crusader Spirit E1 with LTI. You can also join our video sharing contest on our Discord channel, where we have a lovely community there, or you can become a Patreon or a YouTube subscriber for automatic access. That is for the second Spirit E1 that we are giving away. Guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later.